There's Allie in red today. You muted, hon.
Allie.
Oh, wait. Oop. Allie's, you muted.
How about that?
There you go. There we go.
There we go. Happy Valentine's week.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I said I have something special, and this is what I have cooking. I'm going to make an introduction, and then we're going to let Allie have the floor. Please welcome the author of Leveling the Playing Field, Lautenslager. And here he is. What's up, Al?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here. Hello, everybody.
Good to have you. I'm going to get out of the way. And Allie, it's all yours.
Oh, Al, it's such a pleasure to have you on with us today and talking about something that is so important to me. Now, you don't know this. I was turned down for Little League because of my gender. I was pre-Title IX baby, and my entire life has been devoted to being an advocate for women in the game. And here you have chronicled all of this information into one very awesome book. And you have been the author of Baseball Confidential, Cincinnati Soul, managing the show, all kinds of really great books about baseball, not to mention Tuscany and a few other things as well. First of all, it's an honor to have you with us.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, and I love already your backstory.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Let's talk about, first of all, what is it? Why now for this book, Leveling the Playing Field?
Well, it's a pretty simple answer. About a year or more ago, I had seen in the news the announcement of a female coach for an MLB team.
Mm-hmm.
Not a minor league team, not a college team, but an MLB team. And I said, that's pretty cool. I'm a diehard baseball guy, so I'm looking at anything and everything related to baseball. And I said, that's pretty cool. I want to read more about that. I want to read that book. Guess what? That book didn't exist. So I said, that's a trend. I'm starting to see more of these announcements. I think now's the time to let more people know about what's going on. So the book didn't exist. I decided to write it. I got advice a long time ago when I started writing, write the book that you want to read. Well, guess what? I want to read that book. So I decided to write it.
You talk about in this particular book, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And this happens to be a book that was 50 years in the making, ever since Title IX. Let's put it that way. And talk about what is the general focus of Leveling the Playing Field?
Leveling the playing field is the focus of certainly inclusion, certainly gender equity, certainly women breaking barriers, as I like to say. You know, that first started with Jackie Robinson back in the day. In fact, I have a T-shirt that says Breaking Barriers, and it's Jackie Robinson's picture on it. And these women are truly being trailblazers, are breaking barriers, and they're entering a place where traditionally men dominated. So that's the newsworthy point of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look back to the year 2011, there were 0 coaches in the MLB that were female. Wow. 0. And then over the years since then, there's been 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. In 2023, there were 33 women coaches. In 2024, there were 43 women coaches.
Wow.
We've gone from 0 to 43 in 10 years. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I know you're going to ask me what the future holds, and I'll talk about that. But that's an exciting thing. Uh, that's all about inclusion. I know that politically right now, DEI is a big topic. I don't talk politics. A year ago when this book went to the publisher, DEI wasn't in the news like it is today. So it's not that, but it is inclusion. It is gender equity, and it is these women breaking barriers.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of the women that you are profiling in this book. You mentioned, first of all, Mamie Peanut Johnson, one of the pioneers of the Negro Leagues. Let's talk about her.
I like to talk about her. My book coming out in June is about Negro League baseball, specifically in Cincinnati and other places. And she's mentioned in the book. In leveling the playing field, however, I wrote about coaches and front office people, not players.
Understood.
These are not players. And everybody is talking right now about the potential major league for women in 2026, led by Justine Siegel. Justine Siegel is featured in the book. Not players, but coaches. So I can talk about Mamie Johnson a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Sure. No problem. No problem. It just so happened that I noticed the other day that she will be honored in Washington, D.C. with her own intersection. So
yeah,
she will be, I'm excited about that.
And I have communicated with Maybelle Blair, who's part of that same circle. And one other person that I'll bring to light is Perry Lee Barber, who is an umpiring Major League Baseball, and she is featured in the book as a trailblazer. You're touching on other trailblazers. The more you dig, the more you find more of these women that are doing fantastic things.
Whose story was most compelling to you in writing this book?
The one that I liked the best, one of the best, I should say, because I don't want to offend any of the others that aren't the best, was a young lady by the name of Kayla Baptista. Kayla is from the East. I think she lived in Rhode Island. Her parents were season ticket holders at the Red Sox, so she had baseball in her blood. Her dad played college baseball. And she, like many of these other women that I've written about, started playing college softball. Now, I'll fast forward big time right here. If you mention softball to any of these women baseball coaches, it's taboo. They don't want to talk anymore about softball. It's baseball. You mentioned at the beginning about you couldn't play Little League baseball because of your gender. One of my coaches, Taylor Jackson, said she played baseball with the guys and she started beating the guys, striking the guys out, hitting balls over their head. And that's when she knew baseball was in her blood. Kayla Baptista was her family was a Red Sox ticket holder. She played softball at the University of North Carolina, and she got injured. When she got injured, she started helping with the team, sort of coaching. And that got her interested. She went to the Cape Cod League as an intern. And then that's when Major League Baseball took notice that there was a woman on the field. She networked her way through some of the contacts. Somebody knew somebody. And she got what was called an on-field interview with the Texas Rangers. Now, she's working in the Cape Cod League. She's working with some baseball technology companies. And to get an on-field interview with the Texas Rangers is a big deal because she was the only female. They took note of it. She did a good job. They offered her a job. And lo and behold, she became a coach. That was at age 22.
Man.
Kayla Baptista was a coach for the Texas Rangers. she started working with the minor leaguers in the Arizona Fall League. In Arizona, where I am today, there's a rookie league. And Kayla was one of the guys. She was a coach, but yet she was one of the guys. She was hitting batting practice, throwing batting practice, working with the fielders in fielding practice. She was coaching the bases during exhibition games. She was one of the guys. So I loved her story. I loved her path. And that's what's significant about this book. Any young girl that picks it up is going to see a path. If they're at all interested, this is the recipe right here. And that's what Kayla did. She followed that recipe. And lo and behold, she was part of the team when the Texas Rangers won the World Series. And I have a picture of her. She's got a World Series ring.
Oh my God.
Age 22, a Texas Rangers MLB coach. You know how many guys want that? A whole lot. And here's
some people go there. Some people go their entire careers without one of those things. Oh my God.
She's a full-time player development coach for the Rangers, working mostly in Arizona. But she introduced a concept to me that I thought was interesting. She's many times on the field as the fourth coach. Now, in baseball, you have the manager, you have the first base coach and the third base coach, but she was called the fourth coach, which means you do anything that all the other coaches want you to do. And that's okay, because she's learning, she's evolving, she's adapting to a new career. And she fell right into it and succeeded very well already. And she's already on her way to bigger and better things. I asked her, I said, what were the gender issues? You obviously had to overcome some gender issues. And all of these coaches that I interviewed said there weren't many. They were one of the guys. If you're a coach and you're helping a player get to the next level, then they're going to like you. And all these players have the same goal. They want to get to the big leagues if they're not at the big league level. And she's helping them do that. So they look at her as somebody who's a ticket to the big leagues. And that's how she overcame or handled any gender issues that came up, although there weren't many.
God bless her. That is a fantastic story. I can't, I live in Chicago, and so I cannot let you get away without talking about a couple of people who had their roots and they are continuing, and especially as a diehard Chicago Cubs fan and long-suffering, I might add. I have to talk to you about Rachel Folden.
Yep. Rachel was a fun interview. We talked at length. Rachel, by the way, just got promoted to the AAA level. You know, a lot of these girls start out as a video intern. And they might move to strength and conditioning. And then they might move to some other non-uniformed role. And then they start getting onto the field and doing what things like Kayla Baptista did. Rachel did all that as well. And now she's in the AAA. She's going to be in uniform on field. She's going to be either the first base coach or the third base coach. So she just got promoted. And it's interesting to talk to Rachel because I'm a baseball guy. I played baseball. I can get up and hold the bat and be coached on how to hold the bat. But she's doing intricate things like telling them how to hold their fingers, what knuckle to put out, the things that you and I don't think about.
Exactly.
She's into this in a huge way, in a very scientific way, in a very analytical way, helping these guys, and they're just eating it up like you wouldn't believe.
I think that the advent of Billy Bean and the more statistical analytics made, I think that part of the baseball world made it even more available for women, because so many women are now going into the metrics of baseball. So that's a perfect illustration of how women can get involved. And
You mentioned that, and if you go to any Major League Baseball team's website and you pull up their staff, you're going to see a list of, no exaggeration, 200 to 300 people. There's scouts, there's coaches, there's strength and development, there's all kinds of things. There's analytics galore. And today, compared to 6 months ago, compared to a year ago, the number of women that are on that roster is incredible.
it
And
is.
the analytics jobs are some of those entry-level jobs. And they go up from there. I
Yeah,
can't emphasize enough the path that I've talked about here. Every one of these girls have a different path, and that they're all a successful path. And that's what I wanted to put out to people, and that's the message.
absolutely. Let's talk about another success story that sort of started at the Chicago White Sox, because we are equal opportunity here. So we, Kim Ng, who
Oh,
is,
goodness.
I
I
mean, what a story.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to her personally, but I wrote a
Mhm.
chapter about her in the book. At the
Mhm.
time that I had written it, she was the general manager, the number one person in the Miami Marlins organization. And
Mhm.
she had come up through the ranks, just like all these girls that I wrote about, and she hit the top. Now,
Mhm.
she had since stepped back from that job, and as an assistant general manager, another person that's very famous in the women coaching area is Alyssa Nakin. She
Mhm.
was the first on-field coach for the San Francisco Giants, and she's now with the Miami Marlins organization. She left the Giants, and she is following Kim Ng's footsteps. But Kim Ng is somebody that's very interesting. She's a big proponent of everything that you and I are talking about here today, and I love reading about her. She's kind of been out of the limelight for the past 6-8 months, so I don't know what she's really up to, but
Mhm.
she's a definite trailblazer.
Definitely. It's exciting to have watched her career and seen it, because actually, she and I started out together. I
Oh,
started out,
wow.
yeah, I was an intern for WBEZ Public Radio in Chicago
Oh, I
in.
know it well.
Yep, and I was working with a blind sportscaster at the time by the name of Bob Greenberg, and Kim at that time was working for the Chicago White Sox,
Yeah.
and so I'm amazed that we both are where we are at this point in our career.
Oh, that's
I,
fantastic. Good
I
story.
thank God every day.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. And a lot of people don't talk about Cam and her White Sox affiliation
Yeah.
because they're so focused on her being at the top within the Miami Marlins. But she definitely paid her dues along the way.
Definitely, she did. She was great. We don't have too much time left, Al, but I do want to find out from you, where is this all going for women now? You've got coaches, you've got GMs, you've got on field. Where does it go?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I was excited you were going to ask me about that because I picked up, or I started reading the news yesterday after the Super Bowl, and lo and behold, there was a female coach for the Philadelphia Eagles that I didn't know existed, and they were making a big deal about female coaches in the NFL.
Mhm.
Earlier this year, the first female head coach in the hockey NHL was
Mhm.
established. So there's people started talking about that. I just told you about Rachel Folden's promotion
Mm-hmm.
Veronica Alvarez, another one featured in the book, was named as the official ambassador for women's sports for the MLB. And you start looking at these people, this involvement, these announcements, the media that's covering it. That's a big deal, and that's going to just continue. That's absolutely going to continue. I just shared with you the trend from 0 to 43 in 10 years. That's going to start happening. Some of the girls that I interviewed for the book, some of the women that I interviewed for the book have moved on, have moved up, and there's more coming in, and I honestly can't keep track of it. Veronica Alvarez, who's one of the most visible coaches in MLB, told me, I asked her one day, I said, I feel like I'm almost too late with this book because it's almost not a novel idea anymore. And she says, I hope we get to that point. I don't want to keep talking about women in baseball, although I'm the biggest proponent there is, because I want to get to the point where it's not a number to talk about. It's just a matter of course. And I think we're getting close to that, although it'll always be talked about. It's the gender issues have been talked about for hundreds of years, and along with race and everything else that's equity related. So that's not going to go away. But with all these announcements, with all this activity, with all this involvement, it's only going to continue. MLB has so many programs for player development, for youth development, for inclusion. You go to their website, they've got a DEI section, and so many programs. That's growing. So that's where it's going.
I love that. I totally love that. Where can people find your book?
Anywhere they buy books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. My website is alwritesbaseball.com. If anybody has any problems, they can come to me. I can make sure they can get the book. But any place that people buy their books, it's pretty well distributed, and it's going well. And I just can't wait to get the message out to more people.
Well, will you come back and visit us again sometime?
Absolutely. I'll come back in June when Cincinnati Soul, the Negro League baseball book, comes out. We can talk baseball. We can check the statistics on how many women are coaching then. And
I love it.
Absolutely, I'll be back.
All right. Fantastic, Al. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. And I continue to watch Snowman in the morning.
All right. We love you. You're one of us now. Take care.
Okay.
He's now a member of the crew, and so are you.
He is.
Fabulous job, fabulous guest, and you're going to do more of these individual interviews now, right?
Oh yeah. It's my blood. It's my blood, Snowman.
Bring them all on. Love you, girl. Thank you so much.
Too. Thank you, and you be careful out there, and you and Jody have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and pitchers and catchers are reporting this week. Don't forget.
Yes. Bring on baseball. Thanks, girl. Appreciate you.
All righty. We'll see you later.